This is a recording of a presentation that was given at a kickoff event for CS Homeroom at Indiana State University. We're going to go through the slides here and click on links and get you up to date on what is happening with computer science in K12 in Indiana. So I am Jeff Kinney. I'm the one giving this presentation. I'm an associate professor at Indiana State University and one of the people running IndianaComputes at Indiana State. Okay, so what is IndianaComputes? IndianaComputes is a group of universities throughout Indiana that are all working together to help train teachers and provide support for computer science from grades K to 12. I'm going through slides here, and if you want to go back and look at these slides, click links and such, these are all linked off of our main page. If you get to Indiana State CS Homeroom, there's a start here and there's the link to these slides. And there are some additional notes in the notes area in case you're viewing this offline. Okay, so there's a summary of things we're going to talk about. Just a brief look ahead. In 2016, the state of Indiana adopted computer science standards for grades K to 8. So these were things the kids should be able to do at different points related to computer science. So those were approved in 2016. In 2018, the Senate passed a bill, and it was signed into law, that the standards would become part of the curriculum at all public and charter schools. Last year, in 2018-19, these standards were evaluated on the iLearn, and we'll go from there. So the fact that the standards are being evaluated on the iLearn and that it's state law that these should be part of the curriculum is the nudge for a lot of schools and districts to get caught up in getting their teachers trained in computer science for the amount that's needed to meet these standards. Okay, the state has, as of 2018, a portal for computer science. So if we click here, and if you search for Indiana Department of Education Computer Science, this is where you'll come. So this is curated by Jake Caressel, who is a computer science specialist for the IDOE. So he's an IDOE person that's full-time just taking care of computer science. And as a starting point for looking around after you're done with this presentation, you could just click through all the different links here to see what's going on from the IDOE's perspective. And a lot of the links in our presentation will be coming off of this page. So for example, we have Indiana Computer Science Standards, the K to 12 summary of all the standards from grade K up through high school. We'll have a direct link to that later, and it's coming from here. Okay, so and there's some notes down here about those links. All right. In 2018 was the state mandate from the Senate, and it was signed into law. And these are the key three things in terms of schools and districts. So there's a mandate that the computer science standards are in the curriculum in all public and charter schools by 2021. So we have the current academic year and one more academic year to get ready for that mandate. And for the high schools, there should be at least one computer science elective available each year. The iLearn is a little bit ahead of these dates. It's already having computer science as part of the grade 4 and grade 6 science iLearn. And that already ran in the past year. And we're going to get more into this. I'll just point out one thing on the IDOE's computer science page. The first link as of today is a summary here of the requirements. So you should read that. Okay, the K-8 CS standards. They're broken into 5 different areas, and at each grade band, the standards become more detailed and more thorough in each of these 5 areas. We'll take a look at an example. So this is a summary document for all K-12. So, starting with data and information, we look at the K-2 standard using technology. So this could be using a web browser, using Microsoft Word. Then if we go into grade 3 to 5, for the same standard, now they're supposed to be starting to understand about how a computer solves a problem. And we use the word algorithm. And the word algorithm really just means a precise way to solve a problem that can be followed, but now we start to use that language. Now in grade 6 to 8, we need to be able to follow an algorithm to solve a task. And we already do that with a lot of our math. Multiplication is an algorithm. But now we need to understand it in that way. So you can see for each of these 5 categories, there's standards at the different grade bands, and then on into high school to become even more detailed. Okay, so those are the standards. This doesn't mandate where the standards are met, which courses, and we'll have a little something to say about that later. Let's keep looking at the iLearn. So the iLearn grade 4 science and grade 6 science are where these standards are going to show up. I have 3 links here that you can check out. So we're going to look at science grade 4, and these are the different categories that the science. So here we see under investigating 3.5-.di, DI is data information. So that standard could be evaluated on the iLearn, demonstrating how a string of bits can be used to represent letters. And we can click on resources, and here's more information with a sample question. Okay, so this can give us kind of an idea of what we need to get the kids ready for. All right, so that's one of the links. Another one is the blueprint. So if we click on the blueprint for grade 6 science, this lays out how many questions to expect in each category. And if you have the standards here, you have the CD is for computing devices and systems. If we look at the CD items, so there's 2 CD items that are in there, which indicates that there may be just a few questions on that particular item. But then we also have DI, PA, NC, and IC. Those are all going to show up in here as well. When you add it all up, you could expect something like 20% of the grade 4 and grade 6 iLearn to be computer science related questions. And that's not all programming, a lot of it is things that the kid should already be prepared for. So describe ethical issues in the use of data and information, and so forth. Okay, let's look at the third link here. Then you can click on Released Item Repository, and we can look at grade 6. And while that's loading, let's see. So this contains questions, and if you do once it loads, if you just Control F to search for science, then you'll get to the science questions. There's the part of this PDF that has the science questions. So science, and you could look through here to see, just reviewing what questions are there, and also you'll see some questions that are related to computer science in here as well. Okay, you can look through that. And there's also right, so that's looking at the questions. And something that we haven't addressed yet is, how are you going to make sure that you're meeting these standards? And just skipping ahead a moment, because that's kind of the important question, is we'll have some next steps here, but you should already be thinking, how are you going to meet these standards? So there's options at K-8. Then you can try to integrate these into math and science. You can try to put them into a special or into a technology rotation. So that's an option, and depending on which way you're going, you want to start getting those teachers trained to first master the content themselves, and then thinking how they're going to deliver that. In high school, the situation is a little bit easier, because the minimum standard is that you're offering a computer science elective, but then you still need to have a teacher who has mastered that content to be able to deliver it. At the high school level, licensing for computer science has just changed a little bit this year. So these are courses that are related to computer science that are taught with a computer science teaching license. So you see networking, introduction to computer science. There's also middle level computer science, which is a new course that was created by the state. That's an option to offer just in 2019. Right, so these are the courses in computer science, and that same link with the standards for K12, that also has the high school courses. So this CS2 2.5 is a standard from the Computer Science 2 course. So those high school outcomes are listed there as well, and you can also click over to look at the titles and descriptions. So you can look for next year and then the current year. Okay, so licensing. Most of the computer science courses, if you look at the licensing link at the IDOE, you'll see, we look at high school here, and search for our course like networking. So there's networking 1, networking 2. On the last column here, you see what license you're supposed to have. Let's look at AP Computer Science. So for AP Computer Science here, these are the different options for what your license needs to be so that you're okay to teach computer science. So you see computer education, and that has been a licensing category for a long time. There's now a license called computer science, which is just renamed the computer education. Most people that have been licensed to teach computer science have actually been under business. So you see the business categories. At the bottom, this is something that's new, that if you're in a related area, so math or science or technology education, and you have done some professional development, then you're okay to teach these computer science courses. And we have that over here. So this is new. And so doing training with IndianaComputes will qualify you if you're in one of those related areas to teach computer science at the high school level for these courses. And then you could look for the same thing in the middle school PDF. Okay, so you're looking from the perspective of who's going to be able to do this. In K-5, your options are, most will be deciding between trying to integrate with math and science or trying to do it in a special or technology. In the middle school and high school, you might have related areas where they're going to get trained. Okay, so that was sort of the state of things, and now what options are available to teachers and other educators to get trained. At Indiana State University, we're going to be offering workshops in the spring of 2020, and there's a link there to our plan. So we're offering 3 different bands. So for K-5, for middle school, and for teaching programming, that we think those are probably the 3 areas where there's the most need to get people some kind of training right away as soon as possible. So in the spring, we'll be running, each grade band will have 3 different dates where we'll do a different topic. So for K-5, the first date, getting started with the standards, and we have our learning outcomes there, what we're hoping to achieve. The second date would be working on integrating the standards into a math or science course. And the third would be, we can actually integrate some of this into language arts and social studies as well. Okay, so that's going to be available in the spring. You can go to our CS Homeroom. You can see the dates on the calendar here. And you can also go to sign up to any of these dates that you plan to attend to help us with planning. You can also sign up for an email list. We'll be emailing out reminders and announcements. Okay, so that's for the spring. We also have available a Piazza course that has a lot of content. And there's a link here. So if you click on this link, you'll be asked to request access, or if you sign up for our email list, we'll be adding people as we get your contact information to the Piazza course. The Piazza course has lots of content that we've developed. So some of these things are links to outside resources, and others we have developed ourselves. So a lot of stuff to look through there, and we'll have a getting started with the Piazza course coming soon as well. Okay, for the 2020-2021 academic year, there's going to be a more in-depth program that's going to be available. And we'll be announcing this, the launch of this, sometime in the next few months, about the details of how to sign up for that. It'll all be free, but it'll be much more in depth. These sessions that we're running here are 2 hours each, so if you do all the K-5 sections, that's only 6 hours of training. Depending on what you're going to be doing, you really need more than that. And so for the next academic year, we'll have something that runs more regularly for teachers to get more in-depth training. We have some links here that you can click on to see more details about what we're planning. Okay, other resources that are available outside of IndianaComputes. There's lots of free stuff online. I've given a few links here to national organizations with some good online free content that's available for computer science. So there's google.edu and there's others here as well. The IDOE, as part of responding to the Senate bill, is also offering to subsidize, to pay for training through Nextech. Nextech is a nonprofit in Indianapolis that's involved. And if you look at CS professional development opportunities, you'll see different options around the state. And you'll see these links here are, you can see the link there is for Nextech. So you can sign up to take a workshop with Nextech as well. That's something that you can already do, and those also are generally shorter sessions, so it's not going to give complete training. So something else just to plug for IndianaComputes, anything that you see with IndianaComputes is going to be taught by a computer science faculty member who has a degree in computer science and is teaching computer science currently, so like myself. Other resources outside of IndianaComputes that will be available next year, there are going to be other providers. So IndianaComputes, we're going to be funded through the IDOE contract still being finalized, but you can, if you like to read bureaucratic stuff, there was a competition for proposals for providing training for computer science, and these other organizations were also chosen, and so we expect to see a number of different options for teachers for the next academic year. And once those contracts are finalized, we'll send out some more information about the different options, pros and cons. Of course, we think our program is very good. All right, next steps. So you should definitely go to sign up for our email list, so you'll get announcements when we have new programs going. The Spring 2020 Compute workshops, I'm not going to put the link again here. There was a link to the details. You can see the dates. You can also see the dates on our calendar. So you should go and check that out already and figure out which of those would be most beneficial to you and put them on your calendar. Go to the link to sign up. CS Education Week Hour of Code, a lot of schools have done stuff there. If there's some way you think we could help, get in touch. And the bigger question is how the school and the district is going to make sure to meet these standards. So you definitely need to be discussing in your school and your district. Any event that you come to for IndianaComputes, please discuss with us as well, so we'll share our outlook and advice. You definitely need to be reading all this stuff, all these links that I've opened here. So if you're a district person planning, or if you're the person in your school building who's going to be tasked with getting this all sorted out. All right, that is it.